What's up, sneaker people? It's your boy FB Kicks and Gear, and I am back with another legit check guide. And this time I have the Travis Scott Air Max 1 in the Baroque colorway. I have never reviewed this shoe, actually. I've had this authentic pair sitting in my closet for the past couple of months. And I've just been waiting for an opportunity to get a chance to actually do a legit check guide on these. I know they're not the most popular Travis Scott shoe, but at one point these were going for like $700, $800. Resale prices settled around $450. But it's still a pretty dope shoe. It's still got a little bit of hype behind it. And most importantly, it resells for $200-$300 more than what it retailed for. So a legit check guide is important because the person spending $450 on this does not want to receive that. So with all that said, we're going to do our normal breakdown. We'll take a look at the box. We'll take a look at the shoes. We'll compare some of the differences. And hopefully you guys leave this video with a better sense of how to legit check these shoes. So on our left, we have the authentic pair right here. This pair is brand new, dead stock. I have never worn them. I've never tried them on my feet. I will at some point. It's summertime. This is a pretty decent summer shoe, so I will do that. And on the right, we have the replica pair. And just like with every other video, you can find all of the detailed pictures you'll need for this shoe on the Instagram account that's popping up right here. Pay attention to the details, folks. This shoe is full of a lot of details, a lot of different materials, and knowing those things will help you legit check this shoe. So with all that said, let's get into this guide, and we're going to start with the box. So let me get the shoes out of the way. So looking at the box, I feel like we can see some pretty immediate differences right off the bat. One of them being the size. I know can't put it all in frame for you, but the rep box, just like many replica shoes, the box is smaller than the authentic box. But most importantly, I think the easiest thing to really see here is the boxes are different colors. You've got a lighter color cardboard for the authentic box, and you've got a darker color cardboard for the replica box. You can see how they differ here. But most importantly, the easiest thing to look at outside of the color is paying attention to the size tags on the box. You can see clear font differences in the authentic pair compared to the rep. When you look at the smallest text that's on there, like in the color code or in the made in China, you can see that the rep is a lot bolder than on the authentic pair. Overall, the lettering isn't as crisp on the rep as it is on the authentic pair. From there, let's just take a quick look at the inside paper and compare them. Without opening them up, you can clearly see a difference in the color of the paper and the lettering. You've got like a purplish kind of lettering on the rep paper, while the authentic is gray, just like the box. Coloring's a little different on the papers as well, but that's what it looks like comparing the papers. So now that we have compared the boxes, let's take a look at the shoes and see how they compare. So taking a quick glance, I can see that the name of the game here when it comes to legit checking these shoes, it's going to be color. I've handled these shoes a pretty decent amount since I've gotten them, and I've handled these shoes a pretty decent amount since I've gotten them. And until I got these together right next to each other like this, I didn't realize that there were as many color differences as I initially thought. So let's get one shoe from the authentic pair up next to one shoe of the replica pair, put them together, and let's see what these differences are. So here we have the authentic pair on the left and the rep on the right, and these differences are subtle, but it's starting to come together so that you can see. One of the easiest things that I think I can see right from the start is the nubuck panels, the tan and the brown, both different colors than on the rep pair. The tan on the rep pair is way more reminiscent of the Friends and Family Air Max 1 that dropped, as opposed to this. This is on the authentic pair, that this brown, this tan is a lot darker than on the rep. And when we look at the nubucks of the brown, they're definitely a lot closer than the tan, but still slightly different. In fact, I would say that the rep almost looks like a more longer haired version of the authentic pair when it comes to this in particular, this brown in particular. You can see that motion that we're used to seeing on nubuck sneakers of the Travis Scott variety, believe it or not, but on the authentic pair, it's just not there. So that ends up being a difference. You can also see a clear difference between the colors of the midsole and the upper midsole, I guess. You've got this yellowish color that surrounds the entire midsole of the shoe, and on top of that you've got this brown, almost complements the color of the nubuck. While the browns are very, very close, the brown paint looks a little bit darker on the rep. The yellows have a way more starker contrast. It's a lot lighter, it's a lot paler on the replica pair, but on the authentic pair it's yellower. But you can see that the air bubbles, which are actually regular air bubbles, I'm realizing this now, but they're painted over, but those look good in terms of placement and size. Flipping it over to the bottom, you'll see that while the soles themselves are identical, they look very, very close in terms of the markings, the color's a little bit different. You've got that reddish brown that we see on replica Travis Scott rubber outsoles, while the authentic pair is darker brown. Switching over to the back, you definitely see a lot more similar of a color now. It's not as distressed on the rep as far as the nubuck goes, but you see differences in the colors of the flags that are going on back there, just for the sake of making everything the same. This is what the flags look like compared to each other. On the authentic pair, it's just a fuller red, if that makes sense, while on the rep it just looks kind of checkered, and that just happens to be how the embroidery goes. But from this angle, you also see the difference in color of the sock liner. You're getting a more reddish chocolatey brown on the sock liner of the rep, while you have a brown that's more complementary of the nubuck that's on the toe. It's that Baroque brown that they talk about. All subtle stuff, but still pretty apparent when you put them side by side. Looks like this strap, or whatever the hell this is, looks the same. Maybe slight color differences. In fact, I don't know if this is something that's random for every shoe, but if you look, the direction of the pattern on the rep is the opposite direction of the pattern on the authentic pair, and it only happens to be on the back. Looks like they're aligned on the side here, and they're aligned on the side here, but they just happen to be flipped on the back here. Let's check the other shoes. They're going the same direction on the other shoes, so I wonder if that's intentional. I wonder if Nike has any control over that, but still a different nonetheless. One of the things that I saw at a quick glance was the little lace holder here, this red plastic rubber. It's darker on the rep for sure. It's almost like a fuller red. This is like a pale, almost very, very slightly opaque red plastic, but side by side, they're clearly a color difference. Going up onto the tongue, you see the symbols are different. On the authentic pair, it's a darker yellow. On the rep, it's almost like a pale yellowy white. But other than that, the tongues look very similar in terms of shape and size. What I am noticing, again, you have that darker nubuck, this darker tan nubuck than on the rep. The laces seem to be slightly different colors. I'm not sure if it's the angle or the lighting, but feels like a more vibrant red on the authentic pair and a little bit duller of a red on the rep. Overall though, the upper materials are the same color as well. The cuts and the shapes are all the same, as much as that matters. You've got the reverse swoosh. It's hard to describe what this is, but there's like looped plastic that fills the reverse swoosh, and the plastic is darker on the authentic pair than it is on the rep. It's also a lot tighter, harder material. It looks like the rep is a little bit softer, and you can see how it gets disaligned because of that. At first I was going to point to the jagged kind of stitching of the tongue on the rep where the sock liner meets the front material of the tongue, but the authentic pair is the same, so that's not really something I can point to. Pulling out the insole on the authentic pair, it's a different insole. It's got holes here up along the forefoot, and then you have a traction pattern on the bottom, and here is the rep. Immediately you can see the color difference, definitely a darker brown. The holes are not punched as clearly on the rep as it is on the authentic. The Cactus Jack stamp is definitely bolder on the rep than is on the authentic pair. When you turn it over, you can see that they definitely look the same, but this is thinner in feel. They're definitely, yeah, this is definitely a lot thinner and flimsier. You can feel it in hand. I'm sure that this might impact wear when you actually wear them. And that's all it is when it comes to those differences. Lastly, we'll do a blacklight test to see if there's anything that comes up on that regard. Pulling the blacklight out on the authentic pair, you'll see that the straps are definitely reacting, lighting up. The under layer underneath the mesh on the uppers lighting up a little bit as well. The laces light up. They're very, very reactive, as does the stamp print on the insole. Inside of the tongue as well, very, very, very reactive. So everything reacts that you'd expect to react, so it's good to see. Same thing goes for the other shoe as well. So the only thing that we want to react, oh, also something to mention, the lace holder there reacts as well up at the top. So the only thing that we really want to see react is the reds on the strap that goes around, the laces, the lace holder, and the back of the tongue. So let's take a look at the rep and see how that goes. So let's take a look at the rep and see what reacts. Whew, okay, so one of the things right off the bat that we wanted to see react is the laces, and the laces do not react when you put the black light on. No reaction at all. You do see that the lace holders are reacting, but you do not see the red on the straps reacting at all. The inside of the tongue does react like the authentic pair, and as does the markings on the insole. And let's just make sure it's not a fluke on that pair. Let's make sure the other pair is the same. Laces do not light up. Strap does not light up. In the inside of the tongue does light up. Text lights up on the insole. Laces, nothing. So wow, this is a really, 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 really apparent fake to be able to do with the black light. You can see me going from one side to the other. No reaction. This will be a good shot from the back. No reaction. Do the laces. No reaction. So this shoe, night and day, all day, can be legit checked by the black light test very confidently, very comfortably. So that's pretty much it, guys. There are a lot of things that you can use as legit checking indicators on this rep to be able to make sure that you're not getting scammed. I'm fairly confident this can be legit checked if you do a little bit of research. Obviously, having an authentic pair on hand would make this very, very, very easy, but more or less you're good with a black light, and that's all you need. Yeah, guys, that's it. This was a nice little departure from the Jordan 1s that I do all the time, so I wanted to do something like this. Most importantly, I wanted to confirm for myself what the real and fake versions of this shoe look like so that I could help people where I can. So pay attention to all the things that I brought up, specifically the black light test. One thing I do want to mention, my authentic pair came with brown laces. The rep pair did not. So there's that. With all that said, guys, that's all I got for this video. Please subscribe, comment on this video, tell me what your thoughts are. If I missed something, tell me what you would want me to go over. And yeah, guys, please continue support. I appreciate all you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.